Welcome to Akathisia Stories, a podcast from MIST, the Medication-Induced Suicide Prevention and Education Foundation in Memory of Stewart Dolin. MIST is a nonprofit dedicated to raising awareness about akathisia, a medication-induced disorder that can cause suicide, self-harm, and violence. Our mission is simple: increase education and save lives. In this episode, MIST looks beyond akathisia to share a story from the PSSD community. It shows how medication adverse effects, such as emotional blunting, loss of pleasure, and reduced physical sensation, can deeply affect a person's physical and mental well-being. Like akathisia, PSSD has been associated with suicidality and suicide among sufferers who were not clinically depressed nor suicidal prior to taking the medications as prescribed. At 19, shortly after moving out of his family home, Cael sought help for anxiety and was diagnosed with generalized anxiety disorder. He was prescribed several antidepressants over the next few years, including Lexapro, Effexor, Zoloft, Pristiq, and Cymbalta. Instead of improving, he developed severe emotional numbness, suicidal thoughts, insomnia, cognitive difficulties, and persistent sexual dysfunction. After Cymbalta, he was diagnosed with Post-SSRI Sexual Dysfunction, PSSD, and idiopathic neuropathy. Now 23, Cael lives with these lasting injuries and shares his story to raise awareness about informed consent, medication risks, and the need for greater recognition of PSSD. Hey Cael, how you doing today?
Good, how are you?
Pretty good.
Good.
So why don't you kind of take us back to the beginning? So when you were 19, you moved out of your family's home, and
Yep.
I assume you were in college at the time, right?
Yeah, I just barely started. Yeah, it was kind of like the summer
Mm-hmm.
before. Yeah. But I'd taken
Mm-hmm.
classes before, but yeah.
Mm-hmm. And I guess shortly after, you experienced kind of your first anxiety attack, which eventually led to you getting prescribed Lexapro, right? Can you kind of talk about that experience and what was that like?
Sure, yeah. So, I mean, I had anxiety before anybody has, and
Mm-hmm.
it just like wouldn't go away. I had like tried exercise, tried like some things to calm myself down, and I was like, it's not really helping with anything. Like it's not really helping me. So I went to my like family physician or like my primary care doctor, and I talked to him. I was like, hey, like I've been really anxious lately. Kind of told him myself like what I've been experiencing, and he was like, well, it sounds like general anxiety disorder, and I'd be willing to like prescribe you a medication that like helps a ton of patients, and there's not really any side effects, and like he's like most of my patients tolerate it like really well. And I was like, okay, sure. Like I think he might have told me it was Lexapro. It's like I know it was Lexapro. Like I don't even know if he really like told me it was just like a medication that helped my anxiety, and like there wasn't very many. He didn't really talk to me too much about like what to expect. So I went filled the prescription and then just started taking it that day. And then I remember like later that day after I'd taken it, like I just felt like really good, like euphoric. It just like felt really like positive, and like all the anxiety and my worries had kind of just like gone away. So it was like really like a big relief for me. And I was like, man, I'm glad I like went to my doctor and talked to him about it. Like this was such a good idea. And then like as a couple weeks went by, as I kept taking it, like I started getting like weird, like subtle like thoughts in my mind, like, oh, I want to die for like no reason. And I was like, this is so weird. Like I've never felt this way before. Like what's going on, you know? And I just kept taking it, and it was like like every single day I felt suicidal, like every single day. But he never told me it could be the medication. I thought it was just like mentally, like I was having like mental breakdowns and stuff. Like I thought it was just like part of, you know, like living. Like I just thought it was, you know, what I was going through like mentally. I didn't know it was a medication. And so I just kept taking it for about a year, or maybe it was like 6 or 7 months. And then I ended up texting my stepmom because she's a coworker, like they work together at like the same like
Mm-hmm.
office, like clinic. And she talked to him, and he told me that they should up the dose because I think I was on like 10 milligrams. And he was like, well, obviously you're having like, you're feeling depressed. Like these are like symptoms of depression. And he's like, we should up the dose to the maximum dosage, and that should help you out, you know? And then I think I went in and wanted to discuss it further with him. And that's when I brought up, like these sexual side effects I was experiencing. it was more of just like it took longer to climax, and that was about it. Like, just I just noticed that, and I kind of brought that up, and he's like, "Oh, that's really common on these medications. Like, it's nothing really to worry about." I was like, "Okay, you know." And
Hmm.
so then I just kept taking it, and then he added, I think that same day he added Effexor when he upped the dosage to 20 milligrams of Lexapro. He added Effexor, and I'm not sure the exact dose that she added for Effexor, but he started me on that as well.
When you first prescribed Lexapro, did he really get into details about the side effects at all or anything like that? I
No,
mean,
no, not at
nothing.
all. No,
So
nothing.
no other tests. He didn't say maybe we should try this or like check this. He just prescribed it to you.
Mhm.
And then about how long after that? Because you said you were taking about like 6 or so months before you went to the next visit. So about how long after you first started taking it did you start feeling like those kind of like sexual side effects?
I honestly didn't even think about it really. It was probably a couple months in when I started like noticing a little
Mm.
bit, but it wasn't anything crazy, just a little bit. But then, I really noticed it after I started Effexor. Like it just like I
Mm.
really noticed it. Like it took longer to climax, and that was about it. Essentially, that's like the side effects I experienced, and then just like all the other ideations and all that, like lingered when I was on it, and I didn't know, you know. So I just kept taking it. Like I honestly didn't really see him after that for like another year. Like he just kept sending the prescriptions and I just kept filling them. Um, and then
Uh-huh. And you're so you had suicidal ideation and different thoughts that you never had before and they kind of just came up out
never.
of nowhere.
Yeah.
And 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 so were you kind of telling your friends about this or your parents like, hey, I'm having these thoughts and it's really weird or
Yeah, like I noticed I was just like I felt unmotivated. I'd never in my life been depressed before. Like I've been sad, you know what I mean? But not like
yeah.
every single day feel like depressed, like I don't want to live. And so I was like, what is going on? Like this is so weird, you know? Um I didn't really talk to my family too much about it. I told my dad, like, I was like, something's going on. Like, I think I need counseling. And I tried a therapy for a little bit, but I was like, I didn't really see the point because I was like, I felt numb. Like, emotionally, I did notice, like, I just felt
Mm.
numb and I wasn't really getting like a lot out of, like, not like fully numb. Like, I could still experience emotions like sadness, obviously, like, big time, like, just feeling depressed. But yeah, like, it was just really weird. And eventually, like, yeah, like I said, like, it was probably a year and a half later, like, my friends kind of started noticing things that were weird about me, but then like after a while, like I kind of told them I was on like some psychiatric medication, and they were like, "You really shouldn't be on it. Like it has like a lot of side effects." And that's when it kind of like clicked. I was like,
Mm.
what if it's like the medication and it's not like me that's the issue, right? And so I was like,
Hmm.
I just want to stop it. Like I'll just stop it cold turkey. So I was like, I'll just stop taking it. So within a few days, I started feeling irritable, like irritated, and just like, I don't know, the ideations just never went away, like for probably a year later. So we're like six months later, I just had ideations and just kind of felt irritated. And I was like, man, like what's going on? Like I thought it was the medication, I stopped it and like I still feel this way. Like what's going on? And so I went to my school counselor and I talked to her for a little bit and I was like, hey, this is what's going on. Like I don't know what to do. And she was like, you need to be on something. Like you have to be on a medication. Like it's obvious you have like these issues that need to be medicated for. And I was like, okay, like we didn't really give therapy like any like it was like one session of therapy and she was already like you need to go back on a medication because I just don't think she knew how to help me.
So you were on Lexapro and Effexor, but then you stopped both of them cold turkey, or it was just
Correct.
and you still kind of felt those different thoughts and kind of felt down and whatnot. And were you still having those kind of sexual side effects at that time, or did anything change? Did
It went away like after I stopped the
uh
medication.
huh.
Like it went away. It went back to how it was. Like there was no issue
Hmm.
in that
Okay.
regard.
Okay.
It was just more like the ideations and stuff lingered after I had
Uh huh.
stopped. And like I didn't know anything about like protracted withdrawal or anything like that. I just thought it was me, right? And so I went to well no, I eventually just told my parents and I was like, hey, like I'm feeling this way, like I don't know what to do, you know. And they're like, oh, like you need to see a psychiatrist, like you need to see somebody that can like really like figure out what's going on and help you. I was like, okay, like I think that's a good idea. Like they would have a much better idea than just like a primary care, physician. So
Mm-hmm.
I looked under my insurance and found a psychiatrist, and then I just scheduled an appointment. And I went in, told him my issues, like what had been going on, and he was like, "Well, like, there's this medication, it's called Zoloft, that a lot of my patients like tolerate really well. Like, they don't like, I don't have too many complaints on it. Like, I really think it would help you." And I was like, "Okay, like, I'm willing to try it." So he's like, "Yeah, you just start on 25 milligrams and up yourself to 50, and then we'll just go from there." And so that's what I did. Just started taking it, and then the same thing, like I felt like even more like suicidal ideations when I had started it and I kept taking it like than even before. And I was like, what is going on? You know? And so kept taking it and then I upped the dose like you told me to, like after a few weeks, and then I was just on 50 milligrams and it was just like a nightmare. Like I didn't want to live all the time. Like I was just trapped and I didn't know how to tell anybody what was going on because I was scared, like that, like I was gonna get like put into a hospital or something, and I didn't want to
Hmm.
lose, my freedom basically. So I just kind of kept it to myself. But then over time, I was just like, this isn't helping me. Like I don't know like what to do, and so I just stopped it. Like I think I learned a little bit about tapering, like nothing too much. I was like, oh, I just like split the dose like over like a couple weeks, and so I just like broke the pills and just like got myself off of Zoloft, and then like the,
Uh-huh.
s- the sexual stuff went away again, like after I stopped it, and then like I
Okay.
felt good. I felt good. Like after I stopped it, like I didn't have any ideations anymore. Like everything felt great. Like I felt fine. I was like, man, it was like the medication this whole time. So then, like 3 months later, like I remember one night I just like woke up to this shock in my body that like woke me up out of sleep. And then that night I like didn't sleep at all. And I was like this is so weird. Like I was like, what's going on? So then the next night, like I slept for like 3 hours, and then it was just the next night. It was just like not getting any sleep. Or like some nights I wouldn't sleep, or I would get like 2 to 3 hours. And this went on for like weeks and weeks, and then months of just like barely any sleep. And then I started getting panic attacks and like restlessness and I mean, like at that 3 month mark, it was like I remember for a while where I would like pace the floor back and forth in my mom's
Hmm.
basement because I don't know, I just wanted, like I didn't know what to do. I was so like anxious and like having panic that I just wanted to move, and so I just like walk back and forth constantly, and like nobody knew how to help me. Like I would wake up to these adrenaline, like these cortisol, I don't know how to explain it. Just like heart palpitations. Like after sleeping in the morning, like when I'd wake up after 3 hours of sleep, I'd wake up in an instant
Hmm.
panic attack. Like just like fighting for my life, like just insane. And I just felt like I was losing my mind. Like I didn't know what to do. And I went to my parents and told them what was going on. I was like, I think I'm withdrawing from this medication. And like I went to my mom and stepdad. Well, no. Well, I did go to my mom and stepdad and told them about it, and they believed me, but I went to my stepmom and my dad, and my stepmom was like, "There's no such thing as withdrawal from psychiatric, like from
Mm.
antidepressants. There's no such thing." She was like, "I'm on Prozac, and I would have heard of this before. She's like, "I've never heard of this," and I was like, "Yeah, like I think I'm withdrawing. Like I can't sleep. I've never experienced this before, and like I don't know what's going on. And so I like it was like months and months of this. And then eventually she was like, well, my brother, and I didn't know this at the time, but she was like, yeah, my brother, he is a psychiatrist, like a nurse psychiatrist, and like he'd be willing to see you and see if he can help you. So I was like,
Hmm.
okay. I was like, sure, like I'm willing to meet with him and just see if he has any idea on like what's going on. And so
Hmm.
he was like, it's pretty obvious to me that you have a ton of anxiety. Like anxiety seems to be like the main issue here that's causing you not to sleep. And I was like, I kind of disagreed with him, and I voiced my opinion. And he was like, well, it sounds like you've had a really hard time with all these medications. Like it sounds like they like really affected you. And he's like, what? There's like this new thing that's come out called gene site testing, where like they can test your like saliva, and then it tells them what
Hmm.
drugs you metabolize the best. And I was like, okay, like I that sounds great. So I don't have to be like a guinea pig, trying all these different drugs. And so the test results came back a few weeks later, and I was in so much distress. I was like, I was willing to take anything that could help me sleep. And like I was scared. I was really like terrified to try another drug. Like, but he was like, no, it'll be fine. Like it's a drug called duloxetine. That's generic, but it's called Cymbalta. He's like, yeah, we'll start you,
Hmm.
I think, on 30 milligrams. It's like the lowest dose. And it's like, we'll start you on that, and then we'll just go from there. And so I went to the pharmacy, and I remember I waited in the lobby and I sat there and I called my mom and I was like, I'm so scared to take this medication. I was like I have a bad feeling I shouldn't take this medication. Like I'm terrified that it's gonna make things worse, you know? And I just sat in the parking lot and then I like drove home and then that day like my dad was like you need to take it. He's like you have to take it. He's like, did you take it? Like he kept asking me because he like knew I was freaking out and like wanted me to
Mm.
take the medication. And I was like, no, I haven't taken it. Like I'm scared. It's like, no, like it'll be fine. And like my mom, like I called her and she was like, your uncle would never like prescribe you something that would hurt you. That's what she told me. She was like, he would never prescribe you something that would hurt you. So I don't blame anybody, but it's just frustrating. Like they wanted me to help because I would call my mom every day and just distress, like
Mhm.
extreme distress. And nobody knew how to help me. And I would go to like doctors and I could get into that more, but I've gone to like Instacares and like I forgot this part, but I'd gone to an Instacare and they gave me another antidepressant as well. But
Oh yeah.
it was just trial like this the same thing. And like I just felt suicidal and got off it. And then they gave me an antipsychotic and I tried it and then I got off it just because they wanted me to sleep, you know. It helped me sleep, but it just did nothing for me. And so that's why like I gave it a break for a while and just dealt with the insomnia and like panic attacks because I just felt like nobody could help me. And that's when I like my stepmom and everybody was like your uncle, like your step uncle can help you basically, you know. And so then when I got Cymbalta, sorry, I just backtracked, but then when I got Cymbalta and I took it, like that day, I just remember I felt like just disconnected, like disassociated, and I had like burning in my brain, and I don't know how to explain it. It just felt like just like pain. It's so hard to describe. It just like felt like my head was on fire. Like I don't know how to explain it. It just was
Mhm.
super painful in my brain, and I just disconnected all day, and I just felt so weird, and I just kept taking it, and it like actually caused me not to sleep. For like I don't know, like it felt like a week almost. Like I just didn't sleep at all. Like I would just go down and like try to sleep and I would lay in my bed and I would just stare at the ceiling. And I would call like there's like these emergency like Instacare like telehealth doctors you could speak with. And I did that several times, like for nights that I just couldn't sleep, you know? And I would tell them what was going on and they were like, you do know that this drug can cause insomnia, right? Like it can cause you not to sleep. And I was like, well, why am I taking it? You know, like, and she was like, well, you got to talk to your uncle. And I was like, okay, but he was like out of town at the time, so I had to like go weeks with, you know, dealing with these side effects and not sleeping, really.
And so
Uh,
when he prescribed that to you, was he clear about that at all? Like what the side effects might be and what you might experience?
no, no, not at all. He wasn't.
Mm.
He literally like it was pretty much the same thing that all these other doctors had told me. Like all my other patients tolerated it well, and like he even had me because he knew I
Mm.
had like bad side effects on these other drugs. Like had me write a list of like the side effects I was experiencing, and I think I lost the list, but it was like a pretty long list of like stuff I was experiencing on the drug. And I when I met with him, like telehealth, like met with him, I told him about the side effects. He was like, "This must just be from your lack of sleep." He was like, I've never had my patients like make these complaints before that you're like telling me. He's like, I've never had any of them say this stuff before. And I was like,
Mhm.
okay, like I'm pretty sure it's the drug because even on no sleep, I wasn't experiencing this stuff, you know? And so I just took it for probably 2 months. I took some Cymbalta. I just took it every day, regardless of the side effects, just to see if it could help me. And like I was being encouraged by my family, like just keep taking it. Like it can take a couple of weeks for it to become effective, you know? But
Mhm.
that first week, I remember I had like I was laying in my bed or like I don't know, it's like that one of those days like after like a week, I think. I just remember like my genitals had become numb to the touch. I was like, that's so weird. Like, what is going on? You know, like I never even I'd been on like six other antidepressants or no, five other antidepressants before Cymbalta, and I had never experienced sexual side effects that I was experiencing now on Cymbalta. I was like, this is so weird. Like I would orgasm and I couldn't feel anything, and then it was hard to get like an erection, and then just like the skin on
Mm.
my penis was numb. And I was like, this is so strange.
Mm.
I was like, I've never had this happen before. And I just thought it was, you know, a side effect of taking Cymbalta. So it was like, I've never tried this drug before. Like, I didn't know the side effects, you know, but
Mhm.
it just like, just caught me off guard, you know? And so, I just kept taking it and I was like, oh, this is just a side effect, right? It'll just go away when I stop. I didn't know anything about like PSSD or anything like that. And then I eventually just like asked AI, I think, like or looked them up, like my side effects that I was experiencing. like on the drug, and it was like it may be PSSD, but like you have to be off the drug. You know what I mean? And so I called my uncle up and I was like,
Yeah.
hey, like I'm experiencing like all these side effects still. Like it's not getting any better. It's been 2 months, and he was like, well, like you should just stop taking it. And I was like, do you want me to taper off it? Like, do you want me to just like slowly taper? And he's like, no, that's not necessary. Like you can just stop taking it. I was like, okay. So I stopped taking it, and then just the sexual side effects stayed. Like they didn't go away. And I was like, this is so weird. Like it'd been a couple weeks and they still hadn't gone away. And then I like kept looking it up and it was like PSSD, post-SSRI sexual dysfunction. And I was like this can't be true. Like I can't have this. And then like a couple months go by and then I bring it up to my dad and stepmom. I like confront them one night and I'm like, hey, like after I took Cymbalta and I stopped it, like my genitals are numb. Like I can't feel them anymore. And I was like, I don't know what's going on. And they're like, Cael, like, do we need to put you in like a facility? Like, do we need to put you in a hospital? It's obvious like you need
Mm.
help beyond what like people can like we can't help you is basically what they were telling me. Like there's nothing they could do to help me. And they were just like dismissive and like ignoring what I was saying. And so I was like, okay, like I'm just not even going to talk about it anymore. Like there's no point because they're not going to listen to what I have to say. And
Mhm.
so then I just like gave up on talking to them about it. And then months went by. And then it was probably, when was it? I stopped it in June, July, August. It was probably 6 months later after I was still having these like weird sexual side effects. I looked up like the PSSD Network and then I joined a support group with other people experiencing the same condition. And then I just started meeting with them and telling them my side effects and like what I experienced, and then they were saying the exact same thing. And then it just built from there, like building connections with other people, and then I found about met some people with the PSSD network, and then I just started working with them, and just it went from there. And it's been I think this month or the end of this month or in the weekend of June, it'll be 2 years since I've had PSSD, where like I can't feel anything anymore. Like my emotions are numb. Like it's like a constant state of like nothingness, like all the time. Um
Mm.
and it's like being a ghost to your own existence is what I like to say. It's like you lose your emotions, like you lose your connections with people. Like it just it doesn't. And like sometimes like I can like I'll look at my family and it's like I know I love them, but you can't feel it anymore. And just like the sexual side effects and everything like that. It's just like how can this be possible for me to be off a drug for 2 years and for me to be still experiencing the same side effects? It's just nobody ever told me like there was no informed consent on any of these drugs on like what side
Yeah.
effects to experience, let alone like potentially permanent, sexual like dysfunction
Hmm.
and sex like genital numbness. It's just insane. It's insane for me to be 2 years like off the drug and still be living like this.
Yeah. So at what point, kind of between like, I guess right around after you kind of stopped Cymbalta cold turkey around that time, is that when you started looking into akathisia? Like at what point did you start to do your own research and figure out what you might be feeling, you know?
Yeah, so like I looked up the symptoms and then that's when I found like the PSSD network website and like other people
Hmm.
saying like I don't feel any emotions anymore, like I don't feel anything, no love or connection, and then like the genital numbness and the sexual side effects and stuff. And I was like, that's exactly what I'm experiencing. And then by going to the support group and when I introduced myself and like my story, I told them about like when I'd gone off Zoloft and I just like paced for like it felt like days. Like I would just wake up and
Hmm.
pace across my like our basement floor. I just like go back and forth, and they were telling me I didn't know the word for it, but they're like that sounds like anesthesia. Like you were probably just like just a
Hmm.
constant like wanting to like move and like just insane. Like I just didn't realize at the time like what was going on. It's just
Yeah, especially
terrifying.
when you were, yeah, when you were talking about how like you felt like your brain was on fire and all that stuff. It's like, so, but and you don't feel any akathisia symptoms as of right now, right? You're pretty much
No. Yeah,
no, no.
it was probably like a month or
Mm-hmm.
two, like after Zoloft, like when I was in that distress of not sleeping and all that. I'm sure
Hmm.
it was all like played into a part in my so distressed like symptoms. But now I'm mostly just the PSSD symptoms and just like emotionally flat, like feeling nothing. Like,
Because when you were experiencing, I guess looking back, what we could now say is probably akathisia at that time, you said you might have been having some memory loss, but like you'd watch like a movie or something and you might kind of like forget certain things about it. And of course now you say
yeah.
you don't have any of those effects, right? There's nothing left from that.
I'm a little bit cognitively, but nowhere near like
Okay.
where I was on, like starting that like a new antidepressant and on an antipsychotic where I can watch a whole movie and not remember what I watched. You know what I mean? I
Mm-hmm.
still have like some memory issues with things, obviously, but nothing to like that extreme of like, days go by and I have no idea what's going on. Even, I mean, I had that in withdrawal for a long time. Like I would have
Mm-hmm.
days and days go by and I had no idea what was going on thing, but it's kind of leveled out a little bit in that regard, but just it was not as bad now, thankfully. So
During that time, obviously, like I don't want to get too much into your personal stuff, whatever you're willing to share,
sure.
but obviously like you were in college and everything, and did you try to have relationships? Were you in relationships? Did you date at all? I mean, or even before, when you started feeling a lot of like the kind of emotional disconnect, were you still interested in someone, or like did you have those feelings at all, or did you just kind of like, I don't want to say give up, or were you so preoccupied with like your feelings that you just didn't even think about that?
So it kind of like different stages with things. Like I know, like
Mm-hmm.
after Zoloft, I was so distressed. Like the idea of even trying that, like no, that wasn't even in my mind to
Mm-hmm.
try to like be sexual with anybody. I think when I was on Cymbalta, maybe after a while, like I just had no sex drive. And like when I stopped it, I think I did have some libido for a while, but it was just like I just can't perform sexually. And it just felt, embarrassing. So I was like
Mm-hmm.
I did go on dates and I tried, but it's hard to connect with people if you don't feel anything. You know what I mean? Like
Of course,
you could
yeah.
you could try to have like an in-depth conversation with somebody, but if you can't like read the signals or anything like what you're talking about, like it's hard to, get to
Mm-hmm.
that point with anybody. So like I've gone on dates, like I've tried, but it's so dissatisfying and like embarrassing. Like it just feels like a waste of time, like to even try, to be honest.
Yeah.
Like, but I don't know. It's just yeah. Like maybe one day, like, but
Mm-hmm.
right now it's just too much, you know, to try, to be honest. But
And how about like your buddies who were noticing that you were changing before? I mean, do you keep in contact with them and you tell them about everything that you're going through and that you're in the
um
PSSD network and stuff? Or
no, not really. Like I told one of my friends about it before. Like I went into depth with him about it and
mm-hmm.
he kind of understood. He believed me, but it's just unless you're living it, it's hard to imagine what it's like.
Mm-hmm.
You can describe it to somebody, but they're never gonna fully understand. And that took me a while to realize. It's like I would sit, like I've told my parents like about it, and like yeah, I told like some friends, but it's like I could sit there and tell them all day about like what I live with, but it's like they're not gonna understand. Like as much as I
Mm-hmm.
want them to, and that took me a long time to realize. I was like it's too. I think it's just too hard. It's beyond some people's comprehension.
If you can kind of go back and like look at that first meeting that you had with the doctor, you were first prescribed Lexapro, what would you do differently, or what would you say to your 19-year-old self?
I would tell them that not every, emotion is something that is a bad thing. Like it's okay to have anxiety. It's okay to like not know where you're going in life. Like a drug
Mm-hmm.
isn't gonna fix anything. Like just because a doctor says you should take something doesn't mean you necessarily should. Especially if they don't do any like vitamin tests or like see if you're physically active or check your hormonal levels or anything like that. Like I just, it's part of like becoming more mature and realizing things. It's like that doctor just didn't do a very good job, or a lot of these doctors, like just not telling me any side effects or anything like that. And I just
Yeah,
wish,
really.
if I would have had full informed consent about all these side effects, like I never would have touched it.
If there are any doctors or caregivers watching this, I mean, what would you want them to know?
That like patients that come to you and tell you about these symptoms, like the general numbness and like emotional numbing, like after stopping the drugs, like it's not still a psychiatric issue. like something actually is going on, and it's going to take a lot of people to figure out like what's happening. We're doing research and we're trying to figure out what's going on, but it's going to take a lot of people and a lot of money to try to figure out like what's even happening. And then once we figure that out, we know the drug caused it, like the drug and it's stopping, but we don't know like the actual mechanism of like what's causing these symptoms to persist. And then once we figure that out, then we could focus on trying to figure out a treatment. So until that happens, and doctors start like trying to help us figure it out, it's going to take some time. About say a year of, or maybe like 8 months of living with PSSD, I looked up some like urologists that were like really well known, not even about PSSD, but just like well known. And there's one in New York that I reached out to, like their clinic, and I was like, "Hey, has this doctor ever heard of PSSD?" And they're like, "Yes, like he's heard of it before. He sees patients occasionally with these symptoms, and he'd be willing to meet with you." I was like, "Okay, great. Like that's awesome." And so it was like $500, but I was like willing to like meet with the urologist. Maybe he had like some suggestions of like what I should do, beyond what I know, right? So I scheduled the appointment, met with him, and right away, like he was like, I remember he told me, "What makes you so sure that you have this condition?" He's like, "You just seem like you're so confident that you have this condition. Like, what makes you so sure?" And I was like, "Well, after I started Cymbalta and then stopped it, like I told him all the sexual side effects and everything and like the timeline." And he was like, like this sounds like you're having like high cholesterol. Like that's what's causing these symptoms." And I was like, I just shook my head. I was like, it's like, no, this makes no sense. I've never heard of genital numbness after stopping antidepressants and it being from like high cholesterol, like that
Yeah.
makes no sense at all. And then he was like, "Well, it might also be like some type of like STI, like some sexually transmitted like disease." And I was like, "There's like a sexually transmitted disease that causes genital numbness?" I was like, "I've never heard
Yeah.
of this before." And so like I went to my primary care and I told him I was like, "I want a full sexual panel done. I like want my cholesterol tested, like I want all this stuff tested." All the results came back. My cholesterol's in the normal range and my sexual hormone. Oh, well, they did sexual hormones as well, but my like STIs, I had no STIs or anything like that. Like, it all came back negative, and my hormones are in a normal range. And so I never went back and talked with him because I was like, he's honestly not going to listen to me.
Yeah.
And so I was just like extremely frustrated. But then I started researching, looking at like research papers of like PSSD and like seeing what urologists have like heard of it before. And I didn't want to pay like an arm and a leg, to meet with the one again. And so it was like $100 that I met with a urologist from the Netherlands that like has seen patients before and like helped write the diagnostic paper for the condition. And so I reached out to him. I met with him over telehealth, and I told him like my timeline of like the drugs I tried, like what I experienced, or like what I was still experiencing. And he was like, "This sounds exactly like PSSD." He's like, "I'm diagnosing with PSSD." Like he gave me a letter certifying like I met with Cael, like his hormones are in normal range. Like I sent him my panel of like hormones and everything. It's like his hormones are in a normal range. Like there's no other explanation for his symptoms and his timeline besides, PSSD. And so I was like, finally somebody will listen. But it's like there's not much beyond that really that he could do. Like he suggested like some vitamins and different stuff I could try, and I tried them, but they didn't really do very much. Or like I met with another one, and basically just kind of the same thing. He didn't really diagnose me with it. He just kind of said you might have it here in the States, but he didn't really know what to do besides just like prescribe me Viagra. Like you just didn't know what else to do. So a lot of these doctors just like, and us, we have no idea what's going on, and neither do they. To try to figure out how to help people.
I know before you said you were trying to exercise more, eat better, stuff like that, just to kind of get your mind off of that. I mean, what other hobbies or other things like that do you do now to kind of just, spend your time doing something to get your mind off of something depressing? I don't know.
Yeah, yeah,
Do you have any other hobbies or things that you're
I
interested in?
do.
Or
Like gaming with friends. Like I find that to be a good outlet. Like just gaming with people and just trying to find connection, and it
Mm-hmm.
is good to think about other stuff besides this all the time.
Mm-hmm.
So, and just being outside, like I'll do bike rides or like bike around and try to be active, go to the gym occasionally and just like try to be and eat as healthy as I can, but that's about it. Like just, I don't know, socializing is always good with people and just try to get your mind off of things. And
Mm-hmm.
that tends to
Mm-hmm.
help. Like just take the relief, where I can get it. But
Mm-hmm. And thinking about like when it first started, like I know you were, around 19 years old when you had that panic attack. Like that was like what 20? That was like a kind of like late COVID, or I guess like maybe the height of
uh-huh.
COVID. How
Yeah.
did that kind of affect things?
It definitely made me more isolated, like during COVID and stuff.
Uh-huh.
Like I was more alone. And then when you're more alone, you have more time to think about things. And it's like then just the spinning of thoughts and stuff and like just like
Mm-hmm.
being alone for a lot of time kind of made me like super just like anxious. And I think that all like played into everything. And like I didn't really get high school graduation or anything like that. And so I never really got to say goodbye to people and then just like the lack of connection and like I don't know, it was just really hard like to connect with people after that. Like things changed, or at least for a while. Like things are better now, but just for a while there, like during that time, it was really hard to like just find the connections I needed, the support that I needed, and yeah. So
And even though I know you said before that you might look at someone and you know that you love them and you care about them, but it's like really hard for you to feel that connection. I mean, that being said, you still feel like you have a pretty good emotional support group right now. Now that there's been time and people kind of know more about the condition. I mean,
yeah, yes and no. Like, a lot of my family knows about it now, like my siblings and like my mom and stepdad know about it. My other side of the family doesn't. I don't talk to them about it because they wouldn't really care.
mm,
But the other half of my family, like I talk to them about it, and they care, but it's just like I don't know. It's just where they don't understand it all the way. It's hard to help somebody with it. So I could call them and
mm,
tell them like what's going on, but it's like even if they were there with me 24/7 and like trying to support me, it's like I'd still feel the same way. It's just like
mm,
just I don't know. It is nice to have somebody there and to vent, but it's just, it's hard. So
yeah. Oh, I can imagine. I mean, and if there are people watching right now who have PSSD or who might be experiencing things, that are very similar to PSSD, what would you want them to know?
there's a lot of people out there that are experiencing the exact same thing, and that you can find support and connection, with a lot of people and that they're not alone. Like there's a lot of us out there and it's good to talk about it and talk to each other about it. That's why I recommend like support groups and like meeting with people and just trying to spread awareness so that nobody else, has to go through like what we're going through right now.
What's like the most valuable piece of information maybe about PSSD that you found out there that really helped you kind of understand the condition or understand more about it that you'd want to share with someone else?
Um, That's a good question. Like something I found out about it that I like want other people to know. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, that like it's real, like this is a real
Hmm.
thing and it's happening to people. And even though it may be rare, like it is possible. And
Hmm.
even like I don't know how to end this center we could talk, but a lot of doctors like say it's rare. Like they've done like one study out of like Israel, like saying that like it's like one in like 216 people or something can get it. Like it's just
Yeah.
extremely
Hmm.
rare, but they don't know. Like there hasn't been any large like studies done to figure out how rare it is.
Hmm.
But based on how many people like bring it up online and stuff, like it could be like tens or hundreds of thousands of people experiencing it,
Hmm.
but they don't know about it. So I guess you go one day from like, and it's hard. Like it's like you grieve. I remember I told my mom this. It's like you grieve who you used to be. Like I grieve who I used to be. Like I am not the same person I used to know. Like I'm a different person. Like obviously we change over time, but like if you lose your emotions, you lose your connection with people, like you lose your sexuality, it's like you become like a husk. Like you just don't connect with people the same
Hmm.
way. And so it can be really hard. And that's why, it's just best to connect with people and try to figure out what's going on together. But it can be really frustrating. So
Is there anything else you want to share with us about PSSD or about maybe how you're feeling, maybe your outlook on the future? Anything else?
um I mean it's hard. Like, I don't know what the future has for a lot of us. Like, I hope it's good. I hope they're able to figure out what's going on and find a treatment. But it's just the unknown, like until we figure out
Mhm.
what's going on, we don't know if there's going to be a treatment or not. Like, if the damage or if the nervous system, the changes that have been done, if they could be reversed, we don't know. Like, obviously, of course, we want to hope for the best, and I really hope that they're going to figure it out. But it's going to take some time, and just more funding to try to figure out what's going on. We have research going on in like Italy and Canada and other places around the world, like starting, but it's just takes time to try to figure those out, with researchers and stuff. But one day
Mhm.
I hope we'll figure out what's going on for sure. So
What's your kind of day to day look like right now? I mean, are you working anywhere, or do or are
yeah.
you planning for anything else in the future? You still in school, or you finished school, or?
I work right now.
Mhm.
And I'm still in school, like, but I just, if I need to take a step back, like I do, or like I have some accommodations through my university to help me, as needed. They don't know exactly what's going on, but I've kind of like just talked with like counselors and people about like what I'm experiencing, and even though they might not fully understand, like I have some support there, but I am working just part time, like as I can,
Mhm.
and I don't know, I think it's good to like for me personally to just get my mind off of stuff, and just be in society, instead of just reminiscing or like just thinking about the stuff all the time. But yeah, that
Mhm.
helps. So
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you so much for
yeah,
sharing your story today.
yeah, thank you.
It's really something. So
Yeah, I appreciate it.
You've been listening to Akathisia Stories, a podcast from Mist. To learn more and get access to free educational resources, please visit mist.co. Together, we can increase awareness, prevent tragedies, and save lives. At Mist, we are all for truth and disclosure, honesty in reporting, and legitimate drug trials. Thanks again for listening, and I'll see you in the next one.